Right. I hope some of you got the message that I sent round. I'm hoping that you've managed to find some hats and some things and some helmets or whatever. So what I want to see is, what have you got on this morning? What hats have you managed to find? Come and show me the hats that you've managed to find. Ah, cool. Now then, I saw a space hat somewhere. Where's that? Here he is. Look what he's got on. That's cool. This morning, we're going to be looking at what goes on our head. What we think of when we put things on our head. Who managed to find a toy hammer? Did anybody manage to find a toy hammer as well? Ah, cool. Oh, we've got some toy. Is that a actual mallet you've got in your hand? Okay, I've got a couple of hats. Now, I've got this hat. Okay. Now, this hat, it fits. It goes on. But you know what? It doesn't really protect my head. It might keep the sun off. But if you look at it, it's got a hole in it. Now, obviously, if you used to hit that with your hammer, it would just go straight through. There's nothing there to protect. So it's not much good at protecting the top of my head, but it does keep the sun from my eyes at times. But, so let's have a look at another type of hat. Now then, I saw somebody with somebody had a woolly hat on. Who had the woolly hat on?
Woolly hat was the woolly hat.
There you go. You've got your woolly hat. Okay. Now that's very good, isn't it? Eh? It protects your head. Now what happens if you get your toy hammer? What happens to the hat? Does it still hurt?
Yeah.
Yes.
Ah. So again, it does one job, but not another job. And right now, I wonder what we could do. Now, I think Helen's got quite a good hat on. I don't know if I dare say this. What happens if you was to tap Mummy's head?
Am I supposed to say it doesn't hurt?
Yeah. Well, you see, I found a hat that I had years ago, look. Have you seen this one I found? Doesn't quite fit me anymore. It's got a bit small. But like you say, it protects. Now then, where's Jonathan's space hat gone? Because again, if you tap that, it protects your head. Now, when we look at the armour of God, we look at the helmet of salvation. And the helmet of salvation doesn't just protect us from some things or just from certain aspects of life. It doesn't just make us feel and keep us warm, but it actually adds protection. But this just isn't head protection. The helmet of salvation, God's salvation in our lives, protects us and gives us a covering for our lives that protects our minds, our bodies, and our souls. You know, sometimes we get hit on the head, as I know only too well in the last few weeks. And when we get hit on the head, it can cause us damage. It can cause us pain. But you know, the salvation of God is there to help, and not only that, but protect us. It will shield us. Doesn't mean we don't get hit. Doesn't mean we don't sometimes get hurt. But it gives us a place of security that we know. But you know, the only place we can get that security is knowing God for ourselves and accepting his salvation for you. Salvation is, and protection, just like we all need our own hats, is a personal thing. And it doesn't matter how old or how young we are, we can accept God to be in us. I want to ask you another question now. Hold on, I missed the hat out. Chris had his cycling helmet on. You see, that protects, doesn't it?
Shall I get it back on?
Yeah. You
There
see,
we go.
that protects. Doesn't protect the front of the head that well, but it protects if you have an accident. Now then, I want to ask you a question, because we're going to look at something else now, just very, very quickly. Who has got something wrong this week? Who has done something wrong this week? Has anybody been told off this week at school or doing something?
Maybe at home.
Watching TV all day.
We've been told off for fidgeting this week.
Have you been told off? So we've all made mistakes. Now then, have you always been absolutely perfect this week? Have you always eaten or not complained about what food's been put in front of you? But you know, God's righteousness, God's breastplate of righteousness actually covers us. As much as it covers our bodies, it takes away and it covers up our stains and the things we've done wrong. God's righteousness wants to cover us. He wants us to accept it. And what it means is, yes, we make mistakes, but when we come to God, when we come to Jesus and say, just like I'm sure you can say to somebody, I'm sorry I did that, or I'm sorry I said that, I didn't really mean to take that action, I made a mistake, then God's righteousness that he puts on our hearts and over our bodies is that it takes away those stains. It takes away the things we've done wrong and it replaces them with something that is a strong shield. Now, if you hadn't got a top on, you would be able to, and I dare say through your jumpers and through your t-shirts, you can feel your ribs. Just see if you can tickle yourself. You can tickle yourself. But what you can't get to is to your heart and to your lungs and to the inner parts of your body. You know, God's righteousness sits on front of us to protect the precious things in our lives. And God's righteousness wants to protect the good things in our lives, the things that keep us strong, the things that give us strength. And as we put on the helmet of salvation and the breastplate of righteousness that we have to accept, when we do that, we'll be kept strong in what God has for us. It's for us to accept, and we're to put it on each day.